Alright, so let's begin by logging in. So in order to log in, you're going to want to go to McGraw-Hill-Connect.com, and then you'll put in your email address and your password. If you don't have an account set up already, please contact your McGraw-Hill account manager and they can get you set up right away. So when I sign in, it's going to take me into the My Courses area. You'll see that this is where all of my courses and sections are laid out. So in this demo, I've got the HS 101 Med-Term course as well as HS 151 Anatomy and Physiology 2. Just keep in mind that McGraw-Hill and MedTech have a deep partnership, and we are developing lots of courses that map very tightly to the syllabi for your allied health courses. Okay, so the one thing that's really beneficial about Connect is that if you know how one Connect looks, feels, and functions, you're going to be able to navigate through all of them. So if you're doing, for example, a medical assisting course rather than the med-term course, there will be slight differences in the assignment types, but by and large, everything will function in the same manner. Alright, so let's take a look at this course. So we've got the HS 101 med-term course. Alright, and it gives me a little information. It says which textbook we're using with this, and it's the Bostwick 2nd edition. And it also says that it's linked with instructor Ebony King. So the master account is actually under Ebony's name, and that's where we house all the master courses. So in each of those courses, we go in and we update the dates before we copy them out to instructors, and we make any changes or tweaks that are necessary in order to provide everybody a very standardized experience across the country. So if you're a student taking HS 101 in Florida or Georgia, you're having the same experience as a student that's taking this in Indiana. And that's something that MedTech and McGraw-Hill worked very closely together on in order to deliver to your students. Okay, so I'll just go through and kind of scroll over and navigate through a few things. So first of all, we've got this blue link that will actually take you into the course. Note that it says the name of the course, and then it'll have January 2014 in this instance. So right before the most recent start, we will add a date to the end of the course so that you're not confused when you're looking at your courses. Okay, so next up you'll see that there's a little link, and that shows that the course has been shared. So sharing a course limits your ability to make changes as an instructor, but once again, from the standpoint of consistency, it's a really beneficial tool for MedTech, and it allows them to get reports from around the country and all the sections that they have so that they can really get a lot of useful data as to how the course is being taught and what areas we need to work on to make the course more powerful. Alright, next up you've got the roster. If I click on this, it is going to take me to the student roster. Okay, so you'll see here that I've got one student in here. One thing that I want to make very clear is you're only going to see the roster of all the students that have registered for your Connect section. So if you have 10 students in your January HS 101 med-term course and you only see one student in the roster, that means 9 students are yet to register here. So you're going to want to make sure that they register for your section. Okay, so I'll back out again. Next up, we've got this little ID card. And when we open this, it's going to have student registration info. So we call this the student registration info sheet. And it's a very useful piece for you to deliver to your students. It's going to have the name of the course. It's going to have your name, the instructor, the section name. And at the bottom, it's going to have the section web address. And by default, this is usually pretty long. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to edit this address so we can make it more concise. So if you click edit, alright, and it's going to allow you to make changes to the very end. And let's say I want to call this training January 14. I click save. Alright. Going to ask me if I really want to make that change. I say yes. Am I sure I can't undo this? I'll say yes again. Okay, and now I've got it down to a much more concise URL. This is important because the students need this section web address in order to register the first time that they come to Connect. Okay, so a student would just get this address from you. They'd go to that address and click register. That's where they would put in their access code, their MedTech email address, and they'd be on their way. If a student has any questions about the registration process, they can click right here. This is a quick tutorial on how to register. So one other thing, after you've made the change to this section web address, you can either print this off to hand out to students, or you can download this. And if you download this, it becomes a PDF file and you can just email it to your students. So that's a really convenient way for the students to know exactly where they need to go in order to register. Okay, so let's move right along. Next up, registration info. This is where you can set registration dates for the course, but by default no dates are set, and I think that's probably easiest because it keeps students from being locked out. So I suggest that you don't change the registration dates. Alright, and then next up we've got some section options. You can edit the section details. If you click on this, it's yet another way to go in and edit the section web address. Or you could actually change the name. So if for some reason you didn't want this to say HS 101 midterm January 2014 number 2, you could make a change there. But keep in mind that it has to be unique. Alright, so we'll cancel. Your only other option is to delete the section, and that's something that we're never going to do at MedTech. As of right now, the way we've got it standardized, we want everybody to keep their sections so that we've got access to all that data. Alright, so now that we've gone through the My Courses area, we will click on the actual course link and go on to the next section, which is the section overview.